it to lose, but hopefully it wins.
Let's talk about the NL Central. Oneil's up, and I brought it up with Aram on yesterday's Just Baseball show, which was so fun, by the way. Jason Stark. I mean, that was great. But I brought it up with Aram yesterday. Like, I got some texts from some people. It was like, hey man, can you confirm that Oneil's going up? And I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. But Oneil's going up, and here's my thought on Oneil Cruz for watching him for 60 games. This guy will likely not have the stars align for this to happen. Like, I think he's going to be a very good baseball player, but the best case scenario, the 100th percentile outcome for Oneil Cruz, and I saw all three of these things in spurts, is hitting the ball harder than Stanton, throwing the ball harder than Carlos Correa, and running as fast as Shohei Ohtani. Like, that's the level of intrigue we're looking at with Oneil Cruz. We're looking at a 6'7" shortstop, the tallest shortstop in baseball history, that hit a line drive single in Charlotte at 121.7 miles an hour earlier this year, that is flirting with 100 miles an hour across the diamond from short, and that can steal 25 to 30 bags in a given major league season. We're looking at a guy that is as must watch if the stars align as Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Fernando Tatis Jr. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say that.
I have one question. What the fuck took them so long? I mean, come on now. I mean, I know you're going to give the answer. I know the Super 2 deadline is approaching, so it was like kind of now or not really now or never, because we've seen teams manipulate service time. So it's not really now or never, but it's like almost now or never with this situation. What took the Pirates so long with Oneil Cruz? Because Bobby Witt and Julio Rodriguez, all these guys, maybe you could say they're slightly more talented, but in terms of a talent level, Oneil Cruz could surpass all of them. So what took the Pirates so long?
Okay, so right now we're talking about ceiling, right? We're not talking about floor.
That's why I wanted to get into that, because not everything's golden.
Exactly. The Super 2 deadline passed last week. So now Oneil Cruz, he will likely not qualify for this Super 2. And he also was probably held down for long enough to the point where he finishes outside the top 2 in NL Rookie of the Year voting. Well, we'll see what happens with Seiya and all that. But if you finish top 2 in Rookie of the Year voting, then you are awarded a full year of Major League Service time. So he will likely not be awarded a full year of Major League Service time. But honestly, I don't believe that was the thing. Like, I don't think there was a service time manipulation thing going on here. He was not good in the month of April. I mean, you can look at the monthly splits. Like, his OPS was well below 600 in April, and he was striking out all the time. He was hitting the ball on the ground all the time. And oh, by the way, Oneil Cruz commits 16 errors in Indy through 60 games. That was the most in AAA baseball. So Oneil had some stuff to figure out, and I don't think anybody really understood that. Like, they would just see the home run clipped and put out on Twitter, and it's like, get him up. This is so stupid. We should arrest Ben Cherington. I see hashtag arrest Ben Cherington on Twitter. What are we doing? What are we saying about that? Oneil had some stuff that he needed to figure out defensively. He needed to figure out a little bit more focus. That's what Ben Cherington said. And he figured that shit out. I think the time is right for Oneil to go up. He really struggled in April. He put together a damn solid month of May and early part of June. And I think this is going to be really exciting for Pirates fans who are watching Jack Sawinski have a 3-homer day, including a walk-off bomb. Amazing. Leover Peguero make his major league debut. And now you've got Oneil coming up after a cup of coffee at the end of last year. I think the Pirates are like actually going to be a team that people watch, especially when Roansy Contreras is on the hill.
Totally agreed. And we can talk about the play because we talk about the play on the field all the time, but I really want to focus on the focus. No pun intended. The focus is what you talked about and what Ben Cherington has also spoken about too. And when you watch him in the minor leagues as well, you can tell there's something off. It's almost like he's not caring. But what changed? Because there was something that had to change, because no matter all the production, if Ben Cherington and the Pirates brass see this guy mentally doesn't look like he wants it yet. Did you see a light switch? I mean, you watch him every day. Did you see a light switch? Did you see him start to progress fully in that? Or are you still thinking, I didn't really see him progress, just the talent was too much and the Pirates had to do it?
You know, baseball is very hard to stay locked in for every pitch every day. Baseball is the longest sport on the calendar. Like it's 162 games. The line that I heard from, I want to say it was Hawk Harrelson, was baseball is a sport designed to make everybody involved with it go insane. And the team that goes the least insane is the one that's going to win. And I totally stand by that. I mean, this is a long, long season, and it's a long game at times. I mean, we see the 4-hour games, we see the like back-to-back walks, and it's like, oh my God, this thing is dragging. Are you bought in every single pitch? And they needed to work on that, and they worked on that. I wouldn't necessarily say that there was a switch flipped, but I think when the weather warmed up, that helped a little bit, because it's really hard to be out in St. Paul, Minnesota, when the wind chill has the real feel at 19 degrees, and you're playing baseball, and you're from the Dominican Republic. So I think that Oneil, the buy-in is obviously going to be there at the big league level. Like the focus is going to be there at the big league level. I mean, listen, dude, you're at the show. Like, this is what you worked your entire life for. So I think the question was like, what was his focus and his buy-in going to be like in minor league baseball when all of his buddies are getting called up, you know, with the Pirates, with other teams as well. And I think he realized once he like snapped it in, it was only a matter of time. And you could see him snap it in offensively, and now he's up, and hopefully he goes crazy and he does get that full year of service time and wins the NL Rookie of the Year.
I just want to see a fire lit under this dude's ass, because can you imagine if he's 100% motivated and angry?
He might.
No one's going to stop this man. Nobody's going to stop this man. That's just what I want to see. So I was curious if you saw there was a specific game or there was a stretch in June before getting called up where it was just like, wow, this guy looks different, not only physically, but mentally just looks locked in right now. I was just curious if the Pirates then saw that, because like I said, we know the talent is there. I know he had a bad April, but everybody knows what he can do.
Right. I mean, we're saying best case scenario for Oneil is unicorn, never
Literally.
Before seen baseball player.
Like Porzingis as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Porzingis is a Hall of Famer on a baseball field.
Yeah.
I mean, like O'Neill's thing, I wouldn't say that there was like this 5-game stretch where it was like, oh my God, get him up right now. It was a month and a half. It was like, damn, he's got an OPS right around 1,000 for the last 5 weeks. There we go. This is the Oneil that we were expecting, right? All of a sudden. And you know, what's really interesting about Cruz, I don't think a lot of people realize how fast he is. He's very fast. I also don't think a lot of people realize that he's got good bat to ball skills. He was striking out a lot in April, but this is not a guy that's going to strike out 30% of the time and hit 30 homers. He's probably going to hit 20 to 25, but his thing is he's going to hit 120 mile an hour doubles into the gap or down the right field line, or he's going to hit a ball out that has no business getting out. I mean, I know that you saw the highlight of him going to meet a 74 mile an hour curveball that was at the shoe tops, pretty much in the other batter's box. And he just golfs it. It's like he's wedging it and it goes 430 to right center. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see these feats of superhuman strength without the injection in somebody's ass cheek, like we saw in the late 90s, early 2000s. And we're going to say, who can do that? And the answer is Oneil Cruz, end of list. I think that's what we're going to see here.
I'm just excited. I'm just excited. And I wanted to hear from you that, like, oh yeah, over the past 2 weeks, he's just in the weeds, angry, because then I think to myself, well, he might be worth a sprinkle on finishing close to the end in Rookie of the Year voting. Because I'm telling you, if this guy gets up and he's got a fire lit under his ass and he's got all the talent in the world and he starts to connect, nobody is going to stop him. But before we keep moving on, because we have a bunch of topics to get to, you said that 20 to 25 home runs is your projection of him. How? Right? Isn't this a 40 home run guy, or am I just completely off?
I think he is. That's a good question. I think best case scenario, he's a 40 home run guy, but I think like this year, you're probably going to see 15 from him.
Okay.
I bet you see 15, but I think in like a typical year, you're going to see, let's say 25 homers, let's say 35 to 40 doubles, and let's say 20 to 25 bags. And he's going to hit right around 270.
I don't hate that. Sounds pretty good.
I don't hate it at all. How about Riley Greene, though? Because this is a guy with a much higher floor than Oneil. And not a similar ceiling, because O'Neill's ceiling is higher than anybody in all of minor league baseball at this point, maybe except Grayson Rodriguez, whose ceiling is literally Bob Gibson. But Riley Greene has one of the highest floors in minor league baseball, I think. I got to see him when he was in short season ball. in 2019 after he went 6th overall to Detroit, or 5th overall, I think. CJ Abrams went 6th. But Riley Greene, he just looked like a college bat after he was taken out of high school. And that's still what he is. He obviously dealt with the foot thing that kept him out until this past weekend when he made his major league debut. Riley Greene injected some life into this Tigers offense. And on State of the Division with Ryan Miller, I was just running through the OPS among like players on the Tigers. And there's not many guys with an OPS over 600. I think there might be 3 or 4. What Riley Greene can do.
You want to get even more down to it? They have the 3 worst hitters in all of baseball by WRC Plus. The 3 worst. That's not a joke. Jeimer Candelario, Javier Baez, and Jonathan Scope. Bottom 3 in WRC Plus. This offense is terrible. Continue with Riley Greene.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it's horrible. But like,
horrible.
I think we saw Riley Greene inject a little bit of life into the Tigers.
Crazy. I did see it. They put up a great outing. This he got his first hit on a bloop hit, and then he got another one. He is already, because we even said when we compared him as a Spencer Torkelson, right, Jack, that Torkelson's bat is probably, a bit juicier, is going to give you more power, but that Riley Greene, even at the young age of 21, is probably already closer to being kind of the product that we'll see from Riley Greene, right?
Is it crazy to say that I think Riley Greene is just a better hitter than Spencer Torkelson?
I don't think that's crazy at all. Who does Riley Greene remind you of?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know. Think about a guy that can hit 300 with 25 homers and good bat to ball.
See, I want to throw this at you. My thinking here was Brantley with more power.
Yeah.
That's where I go to. I think of like a guy who's, he's not going to strike out really that much, but he's going to show great plate discipline at the plate. He's going to take his walks. He may not ever win batting titles like Michael Brantley did, but I also wouldn't put it past him to win a batting title or 2.
Yeah.
But he's not going to hit 30, 35, 40 home runs like a Torque can, but 25 home runs and 20 steals is perfectly within reach while hitting 300.
Right. Totally different swing. But my thought also goes to another Astro, Kyle Tucker, right? Like that's the type of offensive impact that Riley Greene can have on a team. The Kyle Tucker effect, where he's hitting
Joey Gallo.
Yeah. Shut up. Like the high 200s with 25 homers and 20 bags. I think that's what Riley Greene is. And I think Riley Greene can be a perennial all-star. That's how good this guy is. So we'll see what happens with the Tigers as a collective. Like maybe it was just like getting Torque's friend up that he came through the organization with, maybe that injects some life into Torkelson, and that in turn injects some life into Tucker freaking Barnhart. We'll see what happens here. Their season's a wash already, especially with the pitching staff going through what they're going through. But having said that, I think that Riley Greene can be beneficial for the Tigers. At least he makes it easy to watch Tigers games for Tigers fans.
I think it's the problem with the Tigers offense has not necessarily been like the top of the lineup, right? I mean, they have plenty of guys who at least are good table setters. I mean, Victor Reyes has performed very well in limited time. Willie Castro, Harold Castro, these guys have been the best hitters on the Tigers. It's the middle of the lineup. The middle of the lineup can't do anything. Miggy is, even Miggy's hitting 297, but he just has no
Miggy's
power.
Better, man. Miggy's the best offensive piece they have right now. Everybody else sucks.
He's got no power. He's slugging below 400. Like you're just not even probably going to get 20 home runs this year from Miguel Cabrera, which is just a far cry away from the 40 plus he used to be putting up. Like even Austin Meadows has just been on and off the IL. There's just the middle of the lineup. The guys who I was saying with Scope, with Baez, who have been healthy all year and just can't hit. Candelario has been off and on the IL, but again, can't hit at all. The middle of the lineup, the run producers can't hit. But Riley Greene, and then as soon as Spencer Torkelson starts getting hot, they will at least help that. But Riley Greene looks ready already at 21 years old.
Yeah, no, he's great. And me, Aram, and Ryan Finkelstein were talking too. If Tarek Skubal didn't exist, Miguel Cabrera, even with his sub 400 slugging, would likely be the Tigers all-star. That's how bad the team is this year.
Just as we're talking about rookies too, the Braves might have the front runners in NL Rookie of the Year of Mackenzie Gore after his tough start with Spencer Strider and Michael Harris Jr. So, and the only reason I'm bringing that up,
Yeah.
Michael Harris or Riley Greene, they're both 21-year-olds. They're both outfielders. Who do you like for the rest of the season?
In terms of NL Rookie of the Year voting?
No, because I mean, they're both in different leagues. I'm just talking about the player, like where they are in their development right now.
Riley Greene versus Harris
ends up having kind of the better season, because I think also what that question does with the success of Harris, if you say a guy like Riley Greene, it's giving a ton of praise to Riley Greene. But if you say that Michael Harris is still better, that just then again shows this Michael Harris guy, we're talking all this praise about Riley Greene, but Michael Harris is still that dude. I just think it's an interesting hypothetical.
I'm going to say Riley Greene.
That fires me up.
Greene is the fourth high school guy to debut from that 2019 draft, because it was Witt and Abrams right away, CJ down in AAA, and then you had Michael Harris, and then you had Riley Greene. And Michael Harris, his tools are louder than Riley Greene at this point, right? Like,
better defender.
Michael Harris is a world-class defender. There's a world where he wins the Gold Glove in center field in the National League this year as a rookie.
Wow.
He's that good defensively. He's amazing. He covers so much ground. Riley Greene is not that defensively, but the hit tool I think is better. Like I do think that Riley Greene will have a better offensive season at the end of the year in 20 fewer games, 25 fewer games than Michael Harris will have. But I think Harris, especially for the Braves situation, I think Harris is going to be more important, because I just don't think the Tigers are going to compete this year. But I think in terms of who will put together the better 2022 season, it'll likely be Riley Greene. And I think Riley Greene is the better overall player.
That's remember, that's not a detriment to.
No,
Harris.
It's just like it's Riley Greene's really good. I did text that I think if you're trying to put more money on the NL Rookie of the Year race, it should be going on Spencer Strider. His odds are good. Last time I saw him, they're like plus 1,100, and I'm not a gambling man at all. But listen, I dished out India. I'm not saying ride the hot hand, but what Strider does seems like Rookie of the Year type stuff, right?
My only thing with Strider is, he is a bullpen arm, moved to the starting rotation. How long does 100 miles an hour last? How long does 99 last? If he's just 99, like
all year,
my worry is, with Rodon, right? When he's 97,
95, yeah.
Yeah. And then a couple of starts where he then turns into 95. Like, is he a good enough pitcher to still be able to get outs consistently without the super, super high velo? Because it's still early in the year. He's only had a couple of starts, not a couple. I mean, now we're getting to a sample size of like 6-7 starts, but then again, that's what it is. So I don't know. I don't know if this continues to last, because we have no prior history of him doing it.
I will say that Carlos Rodon does not have the thighs that Spencer Strider has.
Facts.
I mean, he doesn't have those are the best legs on a pitcher in baseball.
Looks like Saquon.
He looks like Saquon, and legs last.
Facts.
What you were taught growing up as a pitcher, right, is your arms should feel sore after a start. Yeah. But your whole body should feel sore after a start. You should be getting everything you possibly can out of your body. You should feel it in your back. You should feel it in your lower back. You should feel it in your legs. Your legs should be sore. It should feel like you maxed out on squatting after a start. That's what Strider throws like. It looks like he maximizes his body, which is the biggest thing for a pitcher, and that can make him sustainable, I think.
I think so too. I'm not saying that I don't think so. It's just when I'm putting money on things, I want things that, at least in my head, I can argue to myself, this seems like more of a sure thing. It's hard to place my money on a player who's a former reliever turned starter and expect him to continue this level of velocity throughout the year. Similar to Michael Harris, the reason why I'm not running to put money on him to win NL Rookie of the Year is because he is a 21-year-old who hasn't gone through the rookie lull yet, which it hits everybody. The pitchers, they throw to these guys. The rookies may perform well. And then there's a level of, the pitcher, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Batter himself has got to figure out from the adjustments that the pitchers make, because they make them quickly. Like, will he go through a lull? And then he might get good again. but I'm expecting him to still go through these types of things. That's my reasoning for just not wanting to put my money on it.
So if you were to commit to one guy for NL Rookie of the Year, would it be Gore or would it be somebody else?
It's still Gore for me. I mean, my pick at the beginning of the year was Seiya, and that was the only person I took. So I'm still riding with Seiya. But if you told me who do I think will win it, I still think it's going to be Gore, because think about it. Who is like, out of all of these rookie starting pitchers, like what we've seen from Gore so far this year, he seems like the most sure thing, barring an injury, of course.
Dude, he's so good.
He's so good, right? And he already looks like that. And we've had prior history of him at least being a starter, being this guy. It was about him figuring out the command, and the command has looked great. Those are tangible things where I think to myself, I'm okay losing this bet as long as it's on Mackenzie Gore, rather than a reliever turned starter that I'm hoping based on huge velocity spikes and the legs. Like I can't just bet on quads as much as I love.
I can bet on quads, man. I bet on ass more than quads, and Strider's got both of them.
And I'm also not saying that it's a bad bet to be on them. They could both of them could be front runners for NL Rookie of the Year, and they are right now. I just talking from my mindset of how I bet on futures, and it's been